Typhoon Kalmaegi passed, leaving behind a landscape of ruin. The hills in front of the house were covered in mud. Grapefruit branches lay broken and scattered across the yard, the porch roof torn and tilted to one side. The wind was gone now. Only the sound of water dripping from the tin roof remained, each drop echoing like the slow, heavy memory of a terrifying night. Diep stood still, looking around. The small house, once her corner of peace, now looked weary, worn out from the storm. But in her eyes, there was no longer fear or panic. She rolled up her sleeves, pulled up her pants, and began to clean, one small piece at a time. An overturned basin, a bent porch beam, loose bricks scattered across the yard. She picked them up quietly, as if gathering the broken pieces of her own heart. The morning after the storm, the sky began to clear. A thin mist still lingered over the mountains. The first rays of sunlight fell across Diep's dirt-streaked face, warm yet resolute. As she worked, she whispered softly to herself, "It's okay. Just a little more effort, and everything will be all right again." When she swept near the old wooden table, she saw a sheet of paper resting there. It was James's handwritten letter, the ink blurred in places by the damp air. "Diep, if one day I'm not by your side, promise me you'll still live well. I believe you're stronger than you think." She froze. Her hands were still covered in mud, yet the paper trembled in her grasp, as if she could feel his warmth through it. A gentle breeze brushed past, carrying with it the faint scent of grapefruit blossoms. Diep smiled softly, a smile touched with tears. "See, James? The storm's over. I'm okay. And I'll keep going." Hello, everyone. Thank you for continuing this journey through the love story of James and Diep. If you enjoy stories filled with emotion and warmth like this one, don't forget to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe for more. After clearing the last remnants from the yard, Diep put on her old conical hat and quietly walked up the hill behind the house, the place where James had bought land to build their new home. The narrow, winding path was still soaked, thick mud clinging to her sandals. The wind whispered faintly through the rows of trees, carrying with it the lingering echo of last night's storm. From afar, the outline of the construction site came into view, unfinished, scattered, desolate. Bags of cement had been torn apart by the rain and wind. Soaked bricks had changed color, and streaks of lime and plaster ran unevenly across the walls. A corner of the newly built wall had collapsed, shattered bricks piled in a broken heap. On the roof, a large branch lay across the frame, its leaves blanketing the path below. The sight made Diep stand still for a long moment. Then, suddenly, a strong gust of wind swept through, cracking a section of wet wall until it crumbled right before her eyes, sending dust and debris flying. Startled, she stepped back, mud splashing across her dress, but she didn't fall. Her heart trembled slightly, yet her gaze grew steadier, firmer. The site manager rushed over, panic in his voice. "Miss Diep, the wall's down. We'll have to stop for now. After all that hard work, and now it's all ruined." Diep didn't answer right away. She knelt, gently brushing her fingers over the broken pieces of brick. If James were here, she thought, he'd keep going. Because this was his dream. Ours. Lifting her head, she spoke calmly but with quiet resolve. "Let's clean everything up and start again. This house must be finished, because he believed in it." She began picking up the shards of broken tiles, dragging fallen branches off the path. Mud clung to her sleeves, and a light drizzle started to fall again, soaking through her clothes. But her eyes shone with a strange, unwavering light. In the fine rain, her small figure stood firm, like a young sprout rising from the earth after a storm. It had been a week since Typhoon Kalmaegi passed. The new house on the hill had risen a little higher. The once blotched walls now stood firm. And Diep kept her steady routine, going back and forth each day between the construction site and the grapefruit garden. Work kept her busy, yet her heart could not find peace. It had been a long time since James had last reached out. Her messages remained marked by a single gray tick, and every call ended in silence. One morning, after returning from the market, Diep stopped by James's house to visit his mother. She had walked that same road from the market to his house countless times, but today, it felt longer than usual. As she walked, her mind drifted to him, to the last time they stood together on that empty plot of land, his hand holding hers, as he promised to build this home with all his love. When she arrived, the gate to James's house was slightly ajar. Inside, the stone courtyard was covered in a thin layer of dust. The wooden chair under the porch sat alone, damp from the night's dew. The air felt still, unnervingly still. James's mother came out to open the door. Her figure was the same as always, but her eyes looked more tired, more distant. Diep bowed politely, trying to hide her unease. The woman invited her in, poured a cup of tea, and sat across from her. The space between them small, yet filled with heavy silence. She said James was abroad, busy with work, unable to get in touch for now. Her voice was calm and steady, but her hands, resting on her knees, kept tightening and loosening, as if hiding something she couldn't say. Diep nodded quietly, not pressing further. Her gaze drifted to a framed photo on the wall. James in a blue suit, his smile bright and familiar. Sunlight filtered in, scattering dust across the glass. And in that soft light, his eyes seemed to look at her, gentle, yet far away. As she stepped out the gate, the afternoon wind swept through, carrying the faint scent of milk flowers from the small alley. Diep gripped the handle of her basket tightly. Her heart felt as if it were weighed down by stone. She knew James being abroad was real, but something in his mother's eyes pierced her chest with a quiet ache, a feeling she couldn't name, as if James were farther away than any distance a plane could measure. On the way home, she unlocked her phone. The last message was still there. James, what are you doing now? Where are you? Do you still think of me? The screen dimmed, reflecting her face. Calm on the outside, but her eyes glistened with tears. She didn't dare think too far ahead, only told herself to keep believing. To believe that somewhere out there, James was still watching her, still following the dream of the house they once shared. And yet, deep within, a small voice whispered, faint but haunting, "What if he never comes back, Diep?" She went still. Her fingers tightened around the letter he had once written her, and she lifted her gaze toward the pale gray sky. Up there, the clouds drifted endlessly, silent and distant, just like the man she was still waiting for. Today, we've just witnessed the story of Diep, the woman who walked through storms, through loneliness, and still chose to keep building the dream James left behind. Amid the unfinished house and the quiet emptiness of days without news, Diep continues to believe that somewhere far away, the man she loves is still watching over her. But sometimes, silence itself is a warning. Is James truly busy in a distant land? Or is there a hidden truth behind his journey that Diep has yet to uncover? The answer will slowly unfold in the next episode, when an unexpected message appears, changing everything Diep has believed until now. If you can feel what Diep feels, leave a like and subscribe to follow the next chapter of her story with me.